Today we join the rest of the world in observation of International Day for the Remembrance of the Slave Trade and its abolition. It was on this day back in 1791 in what is now present-day Haiti, where a revolt sowed the seeds that gave birth to the movement that would lead to the abolition of the transatlantic slave trade. On this day, we pay tribute to our ancestors who made the biggest sacrifice to give us freedom. We also should use the day to reflect on our achievements thus far, while using it as a fuel to chart a prosperous future for generations to come. It's up to us to not let our ancestors' sacrifices go in vain.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Monday, August 23, 2021. Government has resumed the e-commerce national delivery system, ENDS, and has granted permission for registered stakeholders to operate on the 7 no-movement days announced by Prime Minister Andrew Holness last week. The no-movement days, which have been implemented to restrict the rising spread of COVID-19 cases in Jamaica, are in effect Sunday to Tuesday, this and next week, as well as on Sunday, September 5.
Registered online vendors, businesses and delivery operators registered on the END system will be able to operate after curfew until midnight on no movement days.
Approximately 84 businesses have re-registered on the ENDS platform. These include supermarkets, restaurants, vendors, pharmacies, courier services, and health facilities. A full listing of approved service providers can be viewed at ends.gov.jm. It is estimated that through ENDS, over 3,000 Jamaicans have returned to productivity during curfew hours implemented since the COVID-19 pandemic, as the government attempts to balance the country's economic and health needs. The system was upgraded recently to improve vendors' registration and tracking processes. ENDS is a partnership between the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, PSOJ, and the government. Education Minister Favour Williams says the COVID-19 vaccination blitz for children 12 to 18 years has been proceeding smoothly at the various designated centres. On the weekend, the minister visited several vaccination sites as government commenced a 4-day blitz for children from August 21 to 24. According to Minister Williams, if the extent of the vaccination proceedings administered at 2 of the centres in the corporate area is replicated island-wide, this will bolster the certainty of resuming face-to-face class early in the new academic year. The children are being inoculated with the Pfizer vaccine that was donated to Jamaica last week by the United States government. A number of health centres and educational institutions in each parish are being used to carry out the vaccination blitz. Parents are to accompany their children to the vaccination sites, taking along with them their government-issued ID and a copy of their child's birth certificate. Persons without a copy of their birth certificate may take a verification letter signed by a justice of the peace. Meanwhile, COVID-19 vaccinations for the general population will resume on Wednesday, August 25, following the 4-day blitz for children. Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton says the Pfizer vaccine received last week will now be used with the AstraZeneca brand for the general population.
We also have 118,000 doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine that's on its way. What that will mean is that we will have 3 brands as of next week.
The minister says that while persons have indicated a preference for particular brands, they're all providing the same level of efficacy and safety.
And therefore, we urge persons, don't wait until you think you get the brand you want. All the brands coming in have been tried, tested, and proven.
Members of the public can make their appointments online at moh.gov.jm or call the Vaccination Call Center at 888-1-LOVE. That's 888-663-5683. Individuals will need their tax registration number, TRN, and government-issued ID or a letter from a justice of the peace when going to the vaccination site. For mobile vaccination sites, no appointment is required, but individuals should carry their government-issued ID. In other news, the Bank of Jamaica is projecting a higher growth outturn of 7 to 10% for the 2021-2022 fiscal year. Governor Richard Biles says this is up from the 5 to 8% indicated in May. He was speaking during the bank's digital quarterly media briefing on Friday. Mr. Biles says strong indicators leading to this rebound include general consumption tax, GCT flows, and electricity consumption. Other key drivers are tourism and related sectors, largely driven by successful vaccination programs in key source markets and the assumption of careful control of community spread. Additionally, he says the central bank anticipates continued strong growth in the construction sector. Women who are victims of gender-based violence in Jamaica now have access to a new shelter. It is the second such facility in the country. Located in St. Andrew, the new shelter was established by Woman Inc. with funding of $14 million provided by the Embassy of Japan. In a speech delivered at the recent handing over ceremony, Gender Minister Olivia Grange welcomed the establishment of the shelter, which she says is helping to provide a transitional space for survivors of domestic violence. She says the ministry is also making progress in the implementation of the National Shelter Strategy, which is critical to government's policy to eliminate gender-based violence. Residents of the new shelter are expected to live at the facility without risk of harm and will also be able to take training classes in skills that empower them. And finally, approximately $171 million in damage has resulted from the passage of Tropical Storm Grace, which impacted the island last Tuesday. The preliminary estimate is based on assessments conducted by the National Works Agency, NWA. Prime Minister Andrew Holness provided the figure during a digital press conference on Thursday. He says the parishes of Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Thomas, Portland, St. Mary, and Clarendon were assessed to have been badly damaged, and 198 roads were impacted by flooding resulting from deposits of silt and debris blocking drains.
We're now clearing 40 roads that were blocked, I believe that by now all of them should have been cleared. The bridge at Troy in Trelawney collapsed, and we're continuing to do work to clear that area.
The Prime Minister says the necessary budgetary allocations will be made to restore the roads damaged by the tropical storm. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
The following is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
When your turn comes for the vaccine, please take the vaccine. It is absolutely important. For those who have hesitancy and fear, and all of that is legitimate, it's healthy. But I believe we have seen the vaccine at work. We know what the risks are. There are no riskless activities in life. We urge you to participate in the national program and get vaccinated.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Last Wednesday, the Ministry of Health and Wellness confirmed 22 cases of the Delta strain of COVID-19. With this news in mind, we want to give you the tools to protect yourself and your loved ones. First, we urge you to get vaccinated, and we also encourage you to practice the prevention control measures, including social distancing, wearing a mask, and sanitizing. This next feature will assist you in making your own hand sanitizer. Take a look.
Hi there, thanks for joining us. I know, like myself, some of you are working from home. As you can see, I've turned my dinner table into a makeshift office, and I always have my trusty hand sanitizer with me. It's finished, so we're going to make homemade hand sanitizer. We have a 4-ingredient hand sanitizer. The most important ingredient is alcohol, and it has to be 62% volume or above, and aloe vera. And we have vitamin E oil and an essential oil, just to make it smell nice. So follow me into the kitchen. First things first is to turn our aloe vera leaf into aloe vera gel. It's not going to have the same consistency as the aloe vera gel that you'd buy in the store, but I trust this over store-bought because you don't know what they put in it. So first things first, wash it, and then we put it in our blender to smoothen it out. What we're aiming for is a 1/3 cup of aloe vera gel / juice and 2/3 cup of alcohol. We're doing it 2 to 1 because the most important ingredient is the alcohol. Now that we've blended our aloe vera, we're going to put a 1/3 cup of the aloe. Wow, my measurement is on point, man. Whoa, just right. But as I said, the main and most important ingredient is this right here, the alcohol. We're going to use 2/3 cup of alcohol to a 1/3 cup of the aloe vera. I have here my measuring cup and I'm going to pour 2/3 of the rubbing alcohol into the cup. And I'm going to add a 1/3 of the aloe vera gel. For some persons, this will do, but for me, I want to add some vitamin E oil, so as to give a little more softness for the hands. So I'm going to put 2 to 3 drops of it because it's thick. As I said, this is optional, or you could use glycerin if you have it at home. Then the next one is the essential oil. I chose tangerine because I like that smell. And I'm going to add maybe 6 to 8 drops. And it's purely for cosmetic purposes. It doesn't add anything. As long as you have the rubbing alcohol, you should be good. Then I will just mix them together. In a clean container, after you mix the ingredients together, you pour Now that we've made our homemade hand sanitizer, the only thing left to do is to try it out. Very moisturizing. Wow. It's very strong too. Smells a lot like the alcohol with a tinge of the tangerine. So you can try it out right there in the comfort of your home.
Hurricanes can strike at any time. In the event of one, be prepared to act quickly. If a hurricane watch or warning has been issued, review your home disaster response plan. Map out likely routes to evacuate if your home is at risk and confirm with relatives or friends you plan to stay with. Also, confirm the location of the nearest shelter. Check your emergency supplies and restock if necessary. Remember, disasters do happen, so be prepared.
The government is serious about giving all Jamaicans access to safe and affordable housing. That's why there's a competition currently running to see how the state can increase the housing stock on the island. If you or someone you know are interested in being a part of the solution, send it designs to low-cost housing designs at megjc.gov.jm by 4 p.m. on August 31. In the meantime, see how your designs can transform the National Social Housing Program.
Providing safe, adequate and affordable shelter has always been a preoccupation of the government. This commitment can be seen through the mandates of the National Housing Trust, the Housing Agency of Jamaica and the Jamaica Mortgage Bank. The thrust to provide housing for all Jamaicans can also be seen through the work of the Ministry of Local Government and now the National Social Housing Program. The National Social Housing Program is an extension of the Housing Opportunity Production and Employment Program, HOPE. It was developed in 2018 to improve the housing conditions of the country's poor and indigent.
The idea is to support the development of affordable housing solutions right across Jamaica.
The National Social Housing Program, NSHP, achieves its objectives in 3 ways.
The first is the provision of indigent housing. The benefits will be equitably distributed across 63 constituencies, with each constituency receiving 5 units per annum. Then there is the relocation of vulnerable communities. Persons whose lives are in imminent danger will be given priority attention. And then the third modality is the upgrading of tenements, or as we call them, big yards. One such project will be undertaken in each constituency where we can identify tenement yards.
The Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation has oversight for the NHSP, which is administered by a secretariat. Formed in 2019, the secretariat is headed by National Director Danville Walker. The NHSP delivered its first house in 2019. Since then, 29 houses have been completed at a cost of $250 million. They include 12 3-bedrooms, 11 2-bedrooms, 2 1-bedroom units, and 1 tenement yard, which impacted 3 families. With over 70 persons benefiting from the new social housing program, plans are in place to give even more Jamaicans similar access. 15 units are currently under construction and are on track to be completed by July.
The program is designed to address people who are in need, people who can't get houses going the regular method, but it is also designed to bring hope to communities that are in need of such interventions. So if we can make an impact on this kind of housing situation, then we would have started well down the road to address the issue of housing poverty.
We work to make communities safer by essentially looking at the structures in the community that contribute greatest to social capital building. Try to reinforce, build, and establish those structures in a way that the community can sustain their own safety and own their own peace. When we say, for instance, we're doing a zinc fence removal program, what we're really doing is improving the line of sight. If you're on the street and you can see better what is behind the fences, then as you walk along the street or children play on etc., you're able to contribute to crime prevention. We believe, in terms of our mandate and our responsibility, that by making communities safer, we can make Jamaica safer.
The Jamaica House Fellows have been making their mark in the public service. In addition to serving at various ministries, agencies and departments of government, they're also bringing a youth perspective to policy discussions. Get more information on this transformational program next.
Jamaica will be at its best when its most talented graduates see a career in public service as among their highest possible ambitions.
And so the Jamaica House Fellowship Program was born. The aim, to expose young Jamaicans to public administration with the hope that they'll make public service their preferred career path. And from all indications, the strategy has been working.
So I am Lavoy Cruikshank. I'm a senior credit analyst here at the National Export-Import Bank of Jamaica, the Exit Bank.
I am Karel Samuda, and I am a special advisor at the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service.
Aubrey Stewart, Data and Research Specialist for the Ministry of National Security.
In 2016, Prime Minister Andrew Holness set out to transform the public sector. One of the avenues was the establishment of a program, the Jamaica House Fellowship, that targets bright young persons and shapes them into becoming efficient and effective leaders. This would be achieved through their participation in governance and policy decision-making processes. These young persons would work on, support, and implement high-priority initiatives and objectives.
The successful candidates enjoy the unique experience of interacting with members of the cabinet and senior officials in the Office of the Prime Minister and other ministries, departments, and agencies.
Each Jamaica House Fellow would receive a 2-year full-time paid internship and get support from technocrats and policymakers within the public sector.
What we are interested in is creating entrepreneurs. We want you to come into the organization, understand the rules, respect the history and tradition, but at the same time, figure out how we can look towards improving those rules, re-engineering those processes to become more efficient.
In 2017, 8 talented young Jamaicans were selected to be a part of the program. They met regularly to create reports, which were later reviewed and submitted. Some of these reports are now being actioned within their respective ministries.
The first one is the Marcus Garvey Public Sector Graduate Scholarship Program that I started while I was a fellow and then continued when I transitioned from the fellowship to my current role. I was there from the conceptual stage until the launch, so I was really excited about that. You will have heard the Minister of Finance speak of the Fiscal Council, the eventual establishment of the Fiscal Council, and I was heavily involved in the development of that, so I'm really excited. And then on another front, I've been working with colleagues here at the Ministry of Finance on our disaster risk financing policy and also our role on the international stage through the Coalition of Finance Ministers for Climate Action.
I was one of the fellows who was appointed to the National Identification System project. I was appointed initially to the Economic Growth Council, and I've worked on key government policies, whether it's from the NHT, whether it's from the whole program as well, and whether it's even assisting with speech development. So it was pretty flexible, and it brought me here to the ministry, which I've worked on quite a number of social intervention strategies and policies. So yeah, it's been exciting.
Working with the EDI project, youth empowerment in the digital animation industries, a World Bank funded project which allowed creatives the opportunity to explore themselves and to get the funding to explore themselves. I worked in finance in that program, moving it from the state where it was to the amazing project that it is now. But my work here, I was assigned to the Exit Bank in July 2018 in strategic planning and research, which allowed me to support the management and the managing director here at Exit in the formulation of strategy to allow small businesses access to finance. That has been my favorite project so far.
The program followed up with its second cohort in 2020. This time around, 7 persons were selected.
The resumes, the CVs that I've seen are quite impressive. And I'm hopeful that some of you will decide from early to make the career path that of the public service.
It was a very tedious process from application to being successfully selected. So if it is that you want to apply to become a Jamaica House Fellow, be prepared to go through that rigorous process of selection and to just give your best.
Application forms are downloaded from and filled out on the program's website. Once submitted, applications undergo a 3-tier selection process. Under Level 1, the candidate's qualification is reviewed.
So you required an undergraduate degree, minimum of 1 year experience. You had to show that you carried out community work, community service, and you had to upload 2 essays as well, right? You also required the names of 3 referees.
At Level 2, a deeper analysis of the candidate's qualification is conducted. This includes a look at work experience and the level of responsibility of each applicant. There is also the processing of leadership, problem-solving and analytical skills, major accomplishments, and impact made on the community. From that process, the most qualified candidates are shortlisted. And at Level 3, applicants go through an interview process and are required to respond to a case study.
You will get first-hand exposure to policy development. You will get first-hand exposure to policy implementation and project implementation. You will get to understand, the demands that are placed on government. And I hope that will now stimulate thoughts in your minds as to how this can be improved.
Among other things, deliver the following: prepare policy briefs, technical reports, assist with drafting submissions, concept papers, frameworks and systems for comprehensive and integrated implementation of national plans and priorities, carry out general research, qualitative and quantitative. You are also required to participate in any training sessions, seminars, very importantly, think tank sessions.
I'm excited to get my foot into a lot of different projects that I can give my unique perspective as an economist.
I am currently pursuing a master's in public policy and management. So this is all about the application of the theories that I learned.
This would give me the chance to develop my leadership skills and actually apply what I have been learning in the International Youth Fellowship to national development.
I hope to actually, through this program, at least start conversations around creating a more meaningful and a more engaging environment and an enabling environment for the citizens of Jamaica at large.
I hope to give my knowledge base and expertise, my passion, my thirst for service, as well as as my thirst for knowledge and my team working sensibilities.
We often think leadership is leading from the front, but it is servant leadership that I like to ascribe to, and that is leading through service. And so I want to be able to lead my country, contribute to nation building, but through a service, from a service platform.
It truly is a program that offers prestige. It's an honor and a privilege for me to have been selected from 87 applicants.
Come in, learn as much as you can learn, and the most important thing is for you to display the correct attitude. No matter what you have come with, there's always something more for you to learn.
We all created businesses together, so it has benefited not only me, but the entire group. So trust me, the fellowship has been a total success.
They say that experience is the teacher of all wisdom, and I believe the exposure and the experience you get from the fellowship will impact your life beyond what you would imagine.
When you're given opportunities that may not seem like an immediate fit, sort of still tackle that challenge because they learn so much during that process.
And that's where our journey ends, but only for today. We return tomorrow with another program packaged with you in mind. We are available at your leisure online. There's our website, our YouTube channel, our social media pages, plus our mobile app that's smartphone compatible. On behalf of the entire team here at the GIS, I am Adrian Atkinson. Thank you so much for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.